Blessed be the name of the Lord. This is Pastor Michael from God is Enough Ministry. Today I would like to share the book of 1 Peter, chapter 3, verse 1 to 7 with you. Before we go into the word, do please join me on YouTube through Pastor Mike TV, and do please subscribe. The topic today is obligation in Christian marriage. Obligation in Christian marriage. Our relationship with our spouses are aspects of Christian discipleship. Therefore, to properly use one's body and in God's service is equally seen as worship. Fighting is not the cause of a bad marriage. A bad marriage has an underlying causation which needs to be resolved. Remember, a real man is the man who controls himself under all ramifications. Remember, the book of 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 1 talks about the submission of Christian wives to their husband. This relates to the behavior of the wives. But this phrase is translated as an evangelistic motivation. The divinely intended manner of what? Of life for wives as inward, not outward. As inward, not outward. Therefore, it is not an absolute prohibition of any what? Of any outward adornment, but on proper sense of values that relates to Apostle Paul's letter to the church at Ephesus. This you can also read in the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, verse 22 to 24. The Christian woman is to cultivate an inner disposition, meaning meek and gentle spirit, to support her husband willingly, not by force. To support her husband willingly, to benefit the entire marital relationship. It is a position of vulnerability to honor the husband, but not for the husband to become a mini God, to lord over his wife. Since divine marriage flows out of spiritual union known as oneness, husbands should live with wife according to God's knowledge in Christ Jesus. Christian husband can do and can no longer live in ignorance. Christian husband can no longer live in ignorance, claiming it's the devil's work. To live in God's knowledge simply means to live in bond, to live in purpose and principles that God set for marriage. In the relationship of marriage, husband must do everything to foster the spiritual what? Life of the home. 1 Peter 3, verse 7 Peter instructed the husbands to display honor, that is, respect, on the woman as the weaker vessel or weaker partner. By virtue of creation, naturally, we are all weak. Naturally, we are all weak. Therefore, woman as weaker vessel is not to be interpreted morally, spiritually, or intellectually, but scripturally could reference the implication of the fall by being deceived by Satan. By being weaker vessel does not necessarily translate to doormat. Therefore, husband, treat your wife as equal and with respect. Other matters must not be allowed to supersede the essential. To find time for the essential, unessential aspect of the institution of marriage must be negated. Therefore, husband, remember, our relationship with God will not be right if our relationship with our wives is not right. Always remember, you and your wife are both partakers of God's blessing. Brethren, I will stop right here for now until next time when we shall meet again. But do please remember that God is absolutely enough for you at all times. Do please stay blessed.